And so with that, we are going to get right into game number 2. It's going to be Arctic Gaming on the blue side taking on For the Dream on the red. This is our last quarterfinal match for the European bracket here at the Valor Series presented by AT&T.
Yeah, you see with Max here, the one thing that makes him really good too against L'Oreal as well is he has a passive called Static Shock. So every time he damages an enemy, it reduces their HP regen speed by 25%. So he's actually pretty good if he's able to get land that. You see the lightning on the Wonder Woman, that decreases her HP regeneration. So he actually counters heroes that have a lot of lifesteal or get lifesteal from their abilities like a L'Oreal, for example.
And so now, with Arctic Gaming having their backs up against the wall, they're going to have to do everything they can. We're seeing Max for the first time on Arctic Gaming, the first time of today, being 100% banned, now still 100% pick banned.
So one thing I like about it, we talk about vision and vision being so important in the game. When Max activates his ult, Liftoff, you see where every single enemy is on the map, and he can also cancel recalls too. So if someone is really low and they're trying to recall, he can activate Liftoff and then fly to them to get the kill. And we're gonna be probably seeing some of that in this game, and it's gonna be really, really exciting to watch. But that's what makes him so good, because he gives team-wide vision against the enemy team because of his ultimate, which is a crazy mechanic that he has as a hero.
It is indeed, as 4 of the 5 members for Arctic Gaming are on the top side of the map, ensuring that the early game aggression that we know For the Dream is extremely capable of isn't capable of doing it at all. And so now we're also going to get to see Fennec on the other side of the mark here, as it looks like that Spirit Sentinel is going to go down just over the 2-minute mark. Now we have the Abyssal Dragon on the menu, someone that they can go for, as it looks like they're just going to allow Max to just sit on this side wave and continue to get himself farmed up.
Yeah, I mean, I really like Arctic Gaming's draft. It's so strong. I mean, everything about their composition is looking pretty good. And so far, they're doing really well in the early game here. They're not losing objectives. They're putting more pressure, actually, against For the Dream, which was the opposite last game. So they're doing a really good job of not losing the early aggression.
And so now the Abyssal Dragon is probably going to be our first point of major contention, as it looks like both For the Dream and Arctic Gaming are going to be knocking that down. Who's it going to go down to? Kappa is going to pick it up for the side of Arctic Gaming, but the aggression of For the Dream continues. You've got the 3-man knockup coming from the side of Arctic Gaming. They're going to try to do everything they can, but they're going to be forced to disengage, as Grizzly Clue and the rest of For the Dream are pushing them away. Set of a reset. Health bars are low, but it was that Abyssal Dragon that went to Arctic Gaming.
Yeah, Arctic Gaming, nice job. Nice punish there by Arctic Kappa there. He was able to time it perfectly to secure the Abyssal Dragon for his team, which puts him at a decent level lead here. You notice he got level 6 before everyone else. So with this advantage, they got to push it and make sure that they now start to snowball and take a first tower, open up the map for themselves, and then continue to push objectives like the Finnick did in last game, who was on their opposing side.
So now, as we reset ourselves, we see another 4-man collapse onto the top side of the map. They're going to get themselves that Vision Bird because they want to secure everything they can. And this is where the precision of Arctic Gaming has been increased from the last match. They're going to secure themselves a very early Tier 1 tower and a great rotation and a recognition of the location.
But they're going to trade here. For the Dream is going to take the mid tower here and trade the top for mid, which is exactly what you want to do in a situation like this. And they're going to let the minion finish off that tower there. Does it though? Oh, it does not. They should have waited and auto-attacked it one more time to get that mid tower, but they do not trade towers. And this is a little bit of a slight setback for the Dream here. And then the second Spirit Sentinel goes over to Arctic Gaming.
700 gold lead in favor of Arctic Gaming. They're going to have a little bit of time to work with and put themselves in a little bit of a better situation, seeing what For do.
Yeah, so we see here Lindis is waiting in the bush there. She's going to try to poke down that tower and take it low, but it looks like it's not enough damage to do that. And Tulin is in the mid by himself there, but we're going to see the fight here on the bottom of the Abyssal. They're poshing around it. They're trying to pick, and they're going to force the Abyssal Dragon fight here.
2 early Abyssal Dragons for Arctic Gaming could spell a huge advantage for them. They're going to be coming very low. Kappa picks up his second Abyssal Dragon of the game for Arctic Gaming, and that's going to be For the Dream. wanting to get themselves some kills, but a great jump over the wall is going to put Arctic Gaming nice and safe for the Dream, unable to capitalize.
Yeah, and that was interesting. Mina missed her Death Sith pull there, and also L'Oreal ulted. So if maybe they had the ult and used it earlier for that Abyssal Dragon fight, it may have been different because you're basically forcing the opponent to fight under your ultimate to try to contest the dragon against you. But look at this rotation here by For the Dream. It's going to work out really nicely for them. And Frika is going to be taken out very quickly because of that overextension.
And so now, Arctic Gaming has secured themselves a little piece of a lead. For the Dream has done a great job at keeping themselves farmed up, as well as ensuring that every opportunity that they get, they're going to keep up in this gold efficiency, as we are coming up very close to the biggest item on the menu here in the Antares battlefield, and that's going to be the Dark Slayer.
Yeah, the good news is For the Dream is not behind that much in gold. The item advantage is pretty much on parity. If you look at the item being built now, everyone's finishing their kind of tier 2, tier 3, second tier 3 item, and you can see that Lindis has about the same amount of gold as Finnick, and that's a good kind of indicator to see how far ahead or behind you are. Is comparing both your junglers, and if they're even, most likely the gold is going to be pretty even overall as well.
It is, and so now the pings are coming out. The collapse is happening from the side of For the Dream. Freak is going to cut out. He's going to get a nice 3-man stun. Rez is being forced to have to move where he wants to be. Arena of Valor and the rest of the team are coming. This is going to be a 4v4 situation, 5v4 situation rather, for the Dream in the lead. They do not have a minion wave to work with, and there's also a lot of CC on the side of Arctic Gaming, so they're not capable just quite yet of pushing that bot lane turret.
Yeah, there was an interesting engage. It was a nice disengage by Arctic Gaming there. A really good job on Frika there to land a 3-man Lumbar Earthshatter onto the enemy team, knocking them up and slowing their collapse so that his allies are able to disengage and escape just in the nick of time. And look at them. For the Dream is posturing around the dragon here. They're doing a really good job setting it up. And let's see if they're going to be able to take it here. But it looks like they're not going to focus it.
They're going to have to make sure that they're super careful, because if Arctic Gaming secures themselves a 3rd Abyssal Dragon in the world, disaster could potentially be spelled. You can see everything very low. And Arena of Valor is able to take that.
Wow.
Going to force the disengage by Arctic, and just like that, we were terrified.
That was a nice Cyclone, too. I mean, the side of Arctic Gaming, Kappa put a nice Cyclone to zone them out so that they would not be able to get close to the Abyssal Dragon and auto-attack it. But still, Arena of Valor was able to get a trick shot off with and basically get it without even punish. He didn't even use the punish, actually. He used an auto attack to get it, and that was a very nice timing from the side of For the Dream.
He did indeed, and so now we have a very even match from both of these teams. Both Arctic as well as For the Dream have been doing a fantastic job at ensuring that every step of the way, they're not overcommitting. Overcommitting in Arena of Valor is one of the worst decisions any team can make because of how quickly teams are capable of taking down the defense turrets. So as a result, we can see both of these teams playing cautious. For the Dream ends up losing themselves their 2nd tower of the game, but all the while they're keeping themselves up in gold.
Yeah, exactly. One thing I do like is Max is facing Zenio in the top lane together. They're kind of even, because if Max ults away, guess what? Zenio has a global ultimate, angelic ultimate that he can just basically ult towards where Max is going to protect the person that Max is focusing. So Zenio actually is a pretty decent counter against the Max there because of both of them having these global ultimates, and they're just basically canceling each other out. So we're going to have to look for that when the next major team fight happens.
The ultimate form of chess, as either one of these players can help or hinder their enemy team, depending on the state of the situation. Another tower goes down, 2nd in favor here for the Dream. And despite the early scuffles, despite the loss of 2 early Abyssal Dragons, they've been able to secure themselves a 600 gold lead at just over 9 minutes.
Yeah, and they gotta watch, like, Arctic Gaming gave away a tower there, and they need to watch how the waves are being pushed. What wave control is so important in this game because it tells you how aggressive the enemy team is going to be. If they're going to shove the wave on bottom, most likely the rest of the team is rotating and collapsing on bottom lane to get that tower and secure it. So that's something that they definitely need to watch out for.
Abyssal Dragon number 3 has been taken for Arctic. That's 3 of the 4 in the first 10 minutes. And so Arctic Gaming is doing everything they can to keep themselves off and to tie this match. But For the Dream has been doing just as a valiant effort.
Yeah, and look, they're giving another tower away for no reason. This is they're not behind. They're even. They've gotten 3 dragons over 1 dragon that For the Dream got. So Arctic is actually a little bit ahead in my book, and they're giving away these free towers for no reason. I feel like that's something they shouldn't be doing.
Looking at the efficiency that For the Dream is capable of committing across every piece of this map really raises the question of Arctic Gaming, despite the fact that they're prioritizing these Abyssal Dragons, they need to shift their direction over, because as it stands right now, yes, they're getting the gold, they're getting the efficiencies, but unless you take down those towers, you're not going to win the game.
Yeah, this game is all about the objectives. You know, you get the early game objectives mid-game, you put a lot of pressure on the map, and then you win these team fights in the late game. That's the key there. And so far, the objective game in the early and mid phase of this match is being won by For the Dream. And now we're pretty much in late game. I mean, after Dark Clear is up, it's pretty much late game, but this is pretty late as it's 11-minute mark. So the next team fight is going to decide who is going to come ahead.
Starting to see the big power spikes, 3 items starting to get completed for many members on Arctic Gaming as well. As For the Dream, as you can see the posturing, and here we go. This is the fight that we've all been waiting for. 11 minutes into the match, Grizzly Q's going to get himself caught up, and that is a lot of damage from the side of Arctic Gaming. Ruiz on that Tulin's going to be able to pick it up. Denalians is going to have to be forced to run away. It's not going to happen. It's going to be a stun. It's going to be a kill. Kappa picking that one up.
Yeah, and look at that play there. Nice job, Arctic, just catching For the Dream out of position there and taking advantage of Zenio, because if Zenio is focused, he cannot ult away. You know, a stun can basically cancel his ultimate. And the Darkseid is taken by Wonder Woman. Wow.
They're able to pick that one up. Shurko's able to cut down the kill onto Rez. And look at the health bars of the Arctic members.
Goodness.
It's going to be kill after kill. Shurko's going to have to be forced to go away. He has the damage, but he doesn't have the team to protect him. Health bars are low. Health bars are scary, but it's going to be that Dark Slayer. Oh my goodness. That's going to be Shurko picking up that kill. And now it's going to be the members of For the Dream on a roll.
That was such a game-changing play. You know, the Wonder Woman, Rez, again, being play Superman, but now it's Wonder Woman. He gets in there, secures the Dark Slayer. L'Oreal gets a huge damage amp, ult on top the plit, and then just delete the health bars of the entire Arctic Gaming team, turning that fight completely around.
And so now at just over 12 minutes into the game, what looked like the start of a disaster for the Dream is completely changing in as their priority for objectives, as well as that Dark Slayer has put them in a much better position. Spirit Sentinel is going to go down, and now here comes their aggression into the enemy jungle. Shurko, look at the damage that L'Oreal provides, 3, 0, and 0.
Yeah, she has her 4 items. This is enough items for her to carry pretty significantly with Hekate's finished. Gives her a good amount of pierce and the ability power, 30% more ability power damage there. So let's see what they're going to do with this here. And they're going to try to get her. Yep.
And this is where
on the turret here. They need to stop her and get her off that turret.
This is where things
like
could potentially be scary. Opening up the inner circle of Arctic Gaming's towers are going to be very deadly if they're not careful of doing so. Denalians is going to decide to go back. He wants to get health bars up back to full. Abyssal Dragon is going to go down, and here we go. For the Dream starting to push themselves out. It was even, but now they've secured themselves a 3,000 gold.
Yeah, it's really because For the Dream is getting just more map control. I mean, they have more pressure, and Arctic is playing more scared, and they shouldn't be. They're not that behind. If you look at the items, it's not that bad. It's back and forth, actually. And because of how they're playing and how they're giving up map control,
and look at
Arctic is losing the lead.
You saw that gold, the charts, like we said, it was back and forth, and then things started turning out in its head at the beginning of that Dark Slayer. And so now, every little whittle, every little piece of HP taken away from that inner turret is exactly what the members of For the Dream are wanting. And here they are. Arctic Gaming is going to go on themselves a nice little defense. Rez going to do a lot of damage, take a lot of turret shots, but it doesn't matter because the team is there to help out in the wayside. The damage of Shurko is unbelievable. The onslaught is real.
Yeah, and again, she has her smite up. Her judgment circle is up, and you cannot try to contest L'Oreal there with her ultimate. And Tulin paid the price by trying to do that. And look at this rotation from For the Dream. Again, just a late game, beautiful positioning there from For the Dream. They're able to get the kill and then take 2 towers for 2 kills. It's such a positive trade for them.
And it all relies on the positioning that Shurko has had throughout the entirety of this match thus far. We've seen L'Oreal's fail, we've seen L'Oreal's rise to the occasion, and he is doing just the latter. As the high ground turret is getting taken down here, Sherko's gonna take a little bit of damage off of it, about 25% HP left, but this is where For the Dream is starting to take control.
Yeah, and Lindis has that Frost Cape, and 3 members of the side of For the Dream has Frost Cape. That is so much slow and CC, along with the knockup, along with Mina, Taunt, and Death Sit that can pull in an enemy hero. They have such great CC potential here on the side of For the Dream, and that makes him a little more dangerous.
And so here we are, coming up on the 15.5-minute mark. A little bit of a reset, but more importantly, it is For the Dream gathering their resources for the push that is about to happen. You've got the Abyssal Dragon that is up. They can secure themselves a little bit of extra gold, even themselves up at 3 and 3. Almost every member on the map is up to that illustrious level 15, which is going to max out their abilities, and this is where the members of For the Dream are going to start being scary.
Yeah, exactly. Again, Arctic has the max. They need to hard engage with the max together and get his static shocks onto the L'Oreal so she doesn't have as much lifesteal and HP recovery from her abilities and passive. So they need to be much more decisive here and try to go in or bait out the L'Oreal ultimate, and when it's down, they need to then hard engage. So let's see what they're going to decide to do here to try to turn this around against For the Dream.
So here is the big opportunity for the Dream to crack open the base of Arctic Gaming. Going to be about 10% HP. They might decide to just finish the turret. They do. The high ground turret is completed, and here's where the fight starts to begin. For the Dream is pushing themselves onto the back line. Zunk is trying to do his best to kite back, but he's down too low. He can't do anything. Arena of Violet picks up the kill onto Frika, and that's going to be 2 members of Arctic Gaming down. That's going to be one of the carries, and just like that, it's going to be For the Dream taking away that 2-for-0 kill. Now they're pushing on the top high ground turret.
Yeah, such a nice fight by For the Dream. They stayed in it, even though they were getting low. The Hughes were used at the right time. Ultimates, L'Oreal.
Dominating.
I mean, just really nice fighting by For the Dream there.
Dominating effort here by Sherko. Arena of Violet was the one we talked about the entirety of the pregame. We were expecting him to pop off. The skills have been done, but it's been Sherko that has carried the last couple games on this L'Oreal.
Yeah, just doing such a good job there. Him and, like I said, Sherko and Arena of Violet were the key. The way that they focus and they protect each other and do damage together is really turning it. And Rez is setting up these plays as Wonder Woman. He's doing such a good job as a side laner to set up his carries for success. So really nice play overall by For the Dream.
Coming up at the 17.5-minute mark, full builds are starting to get finished, and both of these teams will have the max potential for the compositions that they drafted right before the beginning of this game. The Abyssal Dragon is up and available, but more importantly, the Dark Slayer is here. And at this stage in the game, with the death timers as high as they are, one bad move from either team could spill death.
Yeah, that's an interesting item I want to point out. The Fennec, Kappa got Hyoga's Edge, which is a defensive item. It gives 100 ability power and magic defense and 1200 HP. And the normal attacks basically allows the wearer's attack speed increases by 10% and reduces the target's movement speed by 25% for 2 seconds. But that's a really interesting item on Fennec. Fennec is an attack damage hero, and you don't really need the magic damage or the slow from Hyoga's Edge. So that's a very interesting item that he decided to build there on Fennec.
And so now For the Dream wants that dream to become a reality. Dark Slayer makes that even more of a possibility, as now they've got the pushing power. You've got 2 high ground turrets. You've got Grizzly Q on the bottom side of the map trying to get that split push going. Multiple members are going to come down to try to contest that, but that's going to leave the base wide open and a horrible disadvantage to happen. Sherko and Rez are near the bottom side of the map. They're going to rotate on the inside. Denalians is going to get himself a little piece of the poke.
Oh,
that's
nice
going to be the double knockup, but I don't think that's going to be enough. Zunk is going to get down very low. Zunk is actually going to go zoink, and he's going to die. Freakin' might be the next on the menu. He's going to go down as well. That's going to be 3 members, and it looks like it's going to be the core as the final finish, and our 4th and final semi-finalist is going to be decided. It's going to be Arctic Gaming going down For the Dream, turning that dream into a reality and securing their spot in the semifinals.
Yeah, that was a key there. One thing Arctic Gaming didn't do is Lombard landed a beautiful ultimate, Earth Shatter, onto Lindis, and that's their chance to go in max